This is Andy Purrell for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by WBA World Super Middleweight Champion and the Ring Magazine title holder, Callum Smith. Callum, we're out here in New York ahead of your debut stateside against Hassan and Dam, your first world title defence as well. How are you doing first and foremost?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yourself? Good?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. Obviously, it's good to hear that everything's going well for yourself. Talk to me about Hassan and Dam and the decision to defend your belt against him for the first time.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. He's a very experienced fighter. He's a former two-time world champion. Down at middleweight, and it's a big opportunity for himself at this stage of his career. So I've got to expect the best version of him. But I've always said, if I believe I turn up perform the way I know I can beat anyone in the world, and I'm the best super middleweight in the world. And Hassan and Dam's no different. I've got to just focus on me, do what I'm good at, and I should be okay.
Obviously, Hassan and Dam most recently campaigned at middleweight, and we saw him defeat Martin Murray last time out. Do you feel that he'll be able to adjust to super middleweight, or do you think he'll be too small to make that adjustment?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think when he weighs in at middleweight, he looks slim. He looks tight. So maybe the few extra pounds may benefit him. He may be too small. I hope he's too small, and I wipe him out, to be honest with you. But he's a good mover. His main asset's his movement. So being a smaller person, will probably benefit him in that sense. But like I said, I just believe the best version of me beats the best version of him, or beats any version of him, and I've just got to focus on me. And I'm here to do a job. I'm here to look good. I'm here to win, and I'm here to leave Madison Square Garden still a world champion.
The fight was obviously announced very close to the date, only a couple of weeks ago. Well, no, that was last week that we saw it announced. How much has that impacted your preparations? Did you know well in advance it was most probably going to be Hassan?
They're the same for Noah and Dam. I think he posted on his Instagram weeks ago. We kind of knew the fight was happening. It was just dotting the I's and crossing the T's, as they say. But I've always knew roughly when I was fighting, and for a few weeks now I've always knew who I was fighting. So they haven't dragged me off the couch at a week's notice, and they haven't dragged him off the couch at a week's notice. We've both been in training, and I believe he was in camp thinking he was going to get the Golovkin fight a week later. So now he's fit, he's ready, and so am I. And I think we're in for a good fight, and I believe I can win, and I believe I'll look good doing it.
Do you feel like you'll be able to get that stoppage victory again, make an impression once more out here in the States?
Hopefully, yeah. I always look to win in the best way possible, and if it goes 12 rounds, it goes 12 rounds. He's shown in his past he's tough, he's hard to get rid of, he's been dropped and he's got up and still gone to point. So it could be an awkward night, it could be an emphatic night where I take him out and look good doing it. I plan on look good, and I plan on making a statement, and after a long layoff I plan on getting people talking about me again. So listen, there's pressure that adds to that, but I've always felt the bigger the fight, the bigger the occasion, the better performance from myself, and I plan on looking good the weekend, and I say keep me world title.
Talking about that time away from boxing, last time out against George Groves where you won your world title, it's been quite a while since then. Could you have imagined it not just being this long, but you'd have actually been on the undercard instead of headlining a show?
No, not really. Obviously I knew I was going to be off for a little bit through personal choice. I chose to have a break and become a dad for the first time, and then I got back in the gym, and there was a few dates that were offered, and this one, Madison Square Garden, just had a little bit more to it. It ticked the box what I think every fighter would like to do. They love to fight here and defend the world titles here, and I'd love to headline, but an Anthony Joshua undercard probably gets more eyes than any other show of the year. So it's a massive platform for me to showcase my skills, and a platform that I plan on taking advantage of.
What other opponents, to your knowledge, were discussed with yourself, with Joe, Eddie, etc.?
I don't know. They sent a list over to Joe, and I think Joe just said, yeah, we'll have any of them, and they come back and offered Hassan and Dan, and I agreed. It's just I always agree with whoever they send to me. I believe I'm the best super middleweight in the world, and I beat anyone at 12 stone, and regardless of whatever names they put to me, I'll always walk the ring believing I can win. And Hassan and Dam, I say I've sparred him, I know stylistically what he's like, and I know what to do to beat him.
Obviously on the back of a terrific performance against George Groves where you won your world title, there was a lot of talks about possible unification bouts. I know it's something that you yourself have said on many occasions you'd love to unify as soon as possible. So when the Dam fight was announced over social media, there was that and not a great reaction to it because everybody expected a unification or a bigger name. What are your thoughts with regards to the fan reaction to this fight not being as positive as what it could have been if it was somebody else?
No, it is what it is, and I'm the first person to say I want to unify. the better the opponent, the better version of me. So I believe you'll only see the best of me when I'm in the unification fights and I'm fighting the other top fights in the division. But I've been around boxing a long time now to know it's not that straightforward. The fights aren't as simple to make, and if it was, then we'd have one champion in every weight division, a unified champion, and the fighters are the ones who don't want to fight each other. It's just making sense with promoters, managers, TV companies. There's a lot that goes into it, as we've seen on the bigger scale in the heavyweight division. But them fights are always going to be there, and they're the fights that I'll be pushing to make. If I can get one after this, then very good. If not, then I've got to just keep winning, and as long as I keep winning, the fights will come. And I do believe one day I will unify the division. I do believe one day I'll try and get undisputed, but for the moment it's Hassan and Dan June the 1st, and I'll plan on winning and keep my belt.
Just get your thoughts on the rest of the world champions. We'll come to Billy Joe Saunders last. Start off with Callum. He's going to defend his title against Mike Lee. Your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, he's unbeaten. He's a light heavyweight. He's not really as well known, and I think Plant will win. I rate Plant's a good fighter. He's got good movement, good skills. He's coming off a good win himself, becoming a world champion for the first time. So I think he'll keep his belt, and it's definitely a fight I would love to have in the future.
Anthony Dirrell obviously picking up a vacant WBC world title last time out as well. Is that a fight you think would be easy to make, or do you think it would be difficult?
I don't know. I think it is Al Heyman. I don't know the logistics of things, but again, I was meant to fight Anthony Dirrell a long time ago, and it never happened. And I don't know if it will happen, but I don't know what the situation with him is. I think he has to fight Benavidez, who I believe will beat him. So, by the time then unification fights happen, I believe Benavidez may be WBC world champion, but we'll never know. But whoever's champion at the time, when it comes to unified, then I'll fight, and I believe I'll beat.
And then Billy Joe Saunders last time out claimed the vacant WBO world title against Shefati Sufi. Firstly, your reaction and your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, listen, he's a two-weight world champion. It's an unbelievable achievement, what I'd like to do myself one day, moving up to 175. I thought the opponent weren't the best for the world title fight, but Billy Joe got the win. He got a win quite convincingly. He took a shot in the middle and felt a shot, which shows. Now, I don't believe he's a genuine super middle. I believe he's a better middleweight than he is super middleweight, but he's chosen to move up, and he's a good addition to the mix, and a possible fight in the future. As long as he keeps his belt, then he's in with a shout at being involved in unification fights, which I feel avoided him at middleweight, so maybe he stepped up for more opportunities to be made. And like we touched on earlier, things aren't always as straightforward as possible, and if there was, then he'd have boxed Canelo or Golovkin all them years ago. So I say he's a good addition. It's a very good division, a 12-stone division, but one that I feel I am top of, and the plan over the next few years is to cement that.
In the post-fight press conference after Billy Joe's victory against Shefati Sufi, Frank Warren said that he spoke to Joe Gallagher, and he said that he'd like to make a fight between yourself and Billy Joe a couple of fights down the line, but Frank felt that you'll be moving up to 175 in a couple of fights. Do you think that's a possibility or a likelihood that will happen?
No, not as soon as that. No, I do plan on moving up at some point, and that's only through now I'm big enough to do it, and I'd love to become a two-weight world champion. I've achieved one goal to become a world champion, and I've set myself new goals, and unification is one, undisputed possibly is one, although that's not always as straightforward, and two-weight world champion is definitely one. There's a lot of goals, but no, not in 2 fights time. I'm still doing 168. I'm still performing at it, and there's still stuff for me to achieve at 168. So until that's any different, then I'll remain at 168.
And finally, your thoughts on the headline fight of the night, AJ versus Andy Ruiz. We haven't really touched on it yet. Your thoughts on that one, and Andy Ruiz as a late replacement for Dirrell Miller?
Yeah, he's a late replacement, but he's not a bad fighter. No, aesthetically you look at him and he doesn't look the best, but his hand speed's pretty good. He puts a shot together pretty well, and he's not as far off Dirrell Miller. They're both probably similar levels, so I think it's a good replacement considering the short amount of time. And I still expect Joshua win. I still expect him to take him out and look good doing so, but it's not a bad replacement. No, definitely not. And Ruiz is better than a lot of people are giving him credit for.
Well, Callum Smith, I appreciate your time. I know you're going to want to shoot off now, so thanks for speaking to Boxing Social. I'll catch up with you later in the week.
I'll catch up with you, mate. See you in a bit.
Thanks, Callum.